And that's how we got a lot of our clients. So we got the paid capacity and we got referrals.
Welcome to AD Speaks Digital Marketing Talk Show. Here we share with you cool tools, tips and tricks, and lots of useful information and insights to help you get more leads and customers for your business. So, thank you for joining me, Annalise, today. And I'm so excited to be having this conversation with you.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's amazing that what this technology allows us to do. It's like two people having a coffee together across two different countries. Isn't that amazing?
It is, yeah. I marvel at it every day, how I can be in America. I was in America this morning. And now I'm in Singapore. So yeah, and actually I'm down near Melbourne, Australia. So it's
Yeah, it's like Zoom is the new coffee shop.
it's perfect.
Yeah, so happy to meet you. And, for the purpose of starting this conversation today, I want to just hear about your journey. How did you get started in the world of entrepreneurship, being a mom of three, and now the fourth one is on the way? Tell me about how it all started.
Yeah, well, it all started about 4 years ago when I was working full time in the city, so in Melbourne, and we had two children at the time. They were 3 and 1, about that age, and we knew that by the time they went to school that we wanted to be living back down the coast where we grew up, which was about 2 hours away. So the time came to enroll my daughter in kinder, and I asked for more flexible time from work, which I had had over maternity leave with the youngest one, and that had worked well, but it was declined. And so I didn't want to travel 2 hours to work and work a full day and travel 2 hours back, because my kids would have been asleep when I left and they would have been asleep when I got home. And that's not what I wanted for me and for my family. So I quit, and we live we live regionally. It's a small coastal town. There's not a lot of work, and I wanted the flexibility. So we started our own business. And my husband was a carpenter, and he wanted a change. We wanted him to build our house. And so he retrained as a web developer and a Google Ads expert. And so that's what we started doing. We started building a marketing agency for home builders and trades. Mm-hmm. And that about a year or so in, maybe 2 years in, that was going really well. And we had what we wanted. We both were working from home around the kids. And I was speaking to lots of other mums about, who wanted the same thing, who didn't want to put their kids in daycare for a job that they didn't love doing, and had dreams of running their own business. So I started mentoring these women, because a lot of them, although they wanted their own business and time and freedom, they didn't necessarily want an empire, and they weren't going to have the type of businesses that would make it viable for them to hire a marketing agency, or to be spending ridiculous amounts on on Facebook ads or whatever it was. And so I started mentoring them to DIY. And then now that is a lot of what I do. So that now evolved from this very haphazard group of mums meeting once a fortnight to a structured program where people who want to DIY, they get access to our agency team, which we still have, but a team runs that. And so that was the journey for me. It was just, I wanted to be around my kids more. And so we had to make it work. And we were living with in my in-laws' house at the time, because we're building. So it was all the kids in one room. There was no office, it's a laptop on the kitchen table kind of deal. And slowly we grew our customer base to now we're a team of 8.
Nice. So it's an awesome journey that you spoke about. In fact, I had a similar experience when I quit my job. I was a mother of 2 children at that time, 2 girls. And my decision to quit was taken, to be honest, in the public toilet of an international airport. When I was sitting there and, squeezing that milk out of my breast, because I was breastfeeding at that time. And I told my boss that, I'm breastfeeding, I can't travel, I had to make a presentation. He says, don't give me these technical difficulties.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, I was like managing a huge team and big responsibility in a big corporate company and all of that. And sitting on that toilet seat, something happened to me, and I was like, "What the hell am I doing with my life? And who's going to thank me for it?" Right?
Exactly.
Neither my husband knows what's going on here in this toilet with me, nor my children know, nor my boss knows. Why the hell, and so something shifted in my brain that day, and the very next day I went. Nothing, there was no pre-planning, nothing. The next day I put in my papers. They were shocked. They were like, what happened? I said something changed in me. Priorities shifted.
Yeah.
And then I negotiated, like you also tried, right? So I negotiated, tried to get the company to understand that, bringing up kids is not a joke. And I had worked for this company for long, like 7-8 years, right? So I said, if you want me around, if you can extend my sabbatical for a longer time, I'm okay. But then they said, no, we can't change the policies for just one person, then, all of that. So it was a difficult one. And that's how I got started. And like you, I also got started in the training business, where whatever I had learned, I worked for fashion industry. I was working for Tommy Hilfiger. When I quit my job, whatever I had learned in the industry, I decided to sort of give it back, to the industry. And at that point in time, when I quit, I think 2009, there was no concept of corporate training in the fashion world, in the world that I inhabited of, buying offices, manufacturing factories and all of that. So I said, and people had to just dive in to figure out how the whole thing works. And so companies used to waste a lot of time with their new employees, who would take at least a year to ramp up and really start delivering to the company's expectations. And I said, why waste this time? Why not just give them that training and get them, going straight away? And that's the content I developed. And one factory owner gave me an opportunity, and that's how it started. So it's very interesting that the good thing that, one thing I noticed when you were talking is that your husband pitched in with you, right? So how has that partnership been? Because, when I sort of think about me and my husband partnering, I feel we'll end up having arguments. So how do you manage to sort of sort that thing out, and, the two partners as partners coming together? Isn't it like too close for comfort, or how do you have, resolve the conflicts that that come up, or issues? I don't know. I'm interested in knowing that.
He's a wonderful man. He's so good. And I'm very much the driver. I'm very much the one who has the ambition, and I've always been in marketing. So this is my thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the one who speaks to clients. I'm the one with the strategy. He's great at the technical, like building websites, doing Google ads. Like that's his strength.
Okay. Right.
So we have very different strengths. And so he knows that, I guess we have an understanding that, my strength is the strategy. This was where we're going. I speak to clients, I deliver the information, and I don't try and interfere in what he's doing when he's fiddling that, and he doesn't interfere with me. But we do have to have really strict boundaries. Like sometimes he'll come in at nighttime at 8 o'clock, and I'm reading, and he'll be like, oh, and this client, I'm like, no, like work time. Well, our meeting's at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, or whatever it is that we can fit in a meeting for us, like a work meeting. But it's not, I think it's about really knowing what our individual strengths are and respecting that. And we don't really have conflicts because we work in different areas in the business. We're not both trying to put our fingers in the same pie. And the boundaries that keep, date night is date night, and dinner with the kids is dinner with the kids.
That's nice.
Not work time. And we do have to catch each other and be like, oh, hang on, no, we'll talk about that later. And it's just about having that separation and the respect for each other's skills, I think.
Nice. So because I often wonder, I keep having these, we are both very strong-headed. We both have very fierce ideas of our own, and so there's often this um, clash. And the way he approaches things are very different from the way I approach, as if he inhabits this different world. Like he will talk big scale, making like big bucks, corporate, this, that. And I'm like, I'm standing here for small business owners. Their struggles are very different from, the corporate talk that you are talking about, or corporate speak in the scale that you're talking about. And so there is always this, okay, you don't understand my world.
And I'm not saying we don't have arguments. We definitely have arguments. We definitely do. But it comes back to going, this is my decision. This is in my, this is in my job description. So I'm pulling rank, and in your job description, you get to pull rank. And that's, I think, how it is. But it doesn't mean that, it's always, rainbows and butterflies.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me, how did you said that you started talking to moms who were, struggling with starting their own businesses, and you started giving them advice. So did you start giving them in a group community? Did you start helping them in kind of group classes?
Yeah, I did. And so at the very start, it was, okay, I'm going to offer, I think it was 8 weeks. We're going to meet on Zoom every fortnight. We're going to screen share. We're going to talk about strategy. I can help you, fix your Facebook page, and give you tips on Instagram, and show you how to set up a Facebook ad and all of that. And we can just talk about what you're struggling with and what your ideas are, and you'll go away and do things and come back. And that evolved to be what it is now, which is every day of the week, Monday to Friday, we have a member of our marketing agency team on a Zoom call like this for an hour a day. So if you need help with Google Ads, you log into the Google ad call and you screen share your ads, and our expert, my husband, for that one, logs in, and he looks at the data and he says, okay, this one's not working for you. This is, actually let's set up a new campaign, or turn this off, or this is where you need to look. And everything's recorded so people can go back and have a look. So they can do whatever they need to do in their marketing. So I run the Facebook ad call. We have a branding expert, branding and copywriting expert on a call. We've got, what else have we got? A social media call for people who want to, figure out how to do reels and, whatever it is that they're doing. And then a strategy call for people who want to either start a new product or look at their funnel or whatever it is. We've got different calls for everything. And then people, it's a 12-month program, and people then just log into calls whenever they need it, whether that's a call a week, 5 calls a week, 1 call a month. It doesn't matter, where we're available. And there's a Facebook group in between calls, and it evolved. But originally it was kind of like a pilot program where we started something because I knew people needed help, and we tweaked and evolved it. And we're like a year and a half in more. I think I started about March, about a year and a half ago.
Nice. So how easy or difficult was it for you to acquire your customers and convince them and get them to spend money with you just to give you advice? And so what I hear you say is that it was more a personalized kind of an offering, where they were getting a lot of custom personal attention to their specific problem that they were facing. So definitely that's what I hear you saying. But did it take you some time to convince acquire the clients and get them to put the money on the table, to start working with you? How did you acquire your first few victories, so to speak?
Well, the answer is very different for the marketing agency and for the mentor program. So which one would you like me to dig into? Both? I can explain both.
Yeah, we could do both.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with the marketing agency, the first few clients that we got were organic. They were from cold emails, from cold calling, from, just reaching out to people.
Really?
That was the first couple, because we had no, we didn't plan on starting a business. We didn't have a budget behind us. It was just, let's try and see if we can do this. And so the first couple, that's how we got them. And then we did two things. We connected more with people who were working in a similar industry. So connected with builders, business coaches, and, you know, builder accountants, and anyone who was involved with construction in a professional capacity. And I did one season of a podcast for tradies, and I got in touch with these people to interview them. When I rang them, I wasn't asking them for clients, but I was just interviewing them. I was speaking to them for an hour, and they got to know me, and then I got to know them, and those relationships have stood the test of time. These relationships are still here, you know, 3 years on, and we get referrals from these people that I reached out to and connected with. And then the other thing that we did with the agency is we did Facebook ads. And we ran Facebook ads to I promoted a 2-week paid trial.
Okay.
And it was a paid trial, not a free trial.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of marketing agencies, a lot of tradies are quite wary that they're going to get locked into something. A lot of, tradies, it's Aussie term for tradesmen in construction. we just call them tradies, of course. But a lot of them are wary. And so to have that 2-week paid trial there, that got them to book a consultation call where it was very clear then that they weren't going to get results in that time. It was just, we were setting something up for them. It was the start of a working relationship that they could easily get out of if they weren't happy with how it was going.
Right.
And that's how we got a lot of our clients. So we got the paid capacity and we got referrals.
Nice.
And so, yeah, it was a Facebook ad to a consultation, which was basically a sales call. That was that funnel, and it worked really well, and we haven't had to advertise really since then.
Nice.
A lot of it, because we're so niched, is very SEO heavy now. That kind of keeps the flow on, and if we need to turn the tap on, then we put some Google ads in.
Right.
Now with the mentor program, it's totally different. It started off local. It's very much relationship based. Again, I didn't have a big budget to spend on it because I didn't know if it was going to get people results. I didn't have the testimonials. I didn't know if I liked it. I didn't know if it was going to work. And so it was really just testing the waters and changing and tweaking as we went. Then I ran probably, I'll talk about the most profitable, like the best way of getting people in, which is what I still do now. And every 2 months, I run a 5-day free workshop.
I see.
So I follow the live launch method that Kelly Roach promotes and wrote the book on. So if you would like to look it up, she runs workshops on that every couple of months, and that's what I do. So it's a free workshop where I teach people how to craft their offer, you walk away at the end of the 5 days with a marketing strategy that you can go and implement. And the strategy behind it is they can go and implement it by themselves, or they can come and join my program and we can help implement it all together with the support of a professional marketing team together. But either way, at the end of the 5 days that you've invested an hour with me every day, you walk away with a plan that is actually going to, work. You've worked with us for that week to develop something they can go and move forward with. And and this is all via Facebook Live.
I see.
And so the relationship is built over 5 days, that the trust is incredible. And so generally the conversion rate's about 3 to 5% of people will come into will convert. And so I think really the live video, the not having a script, the getting people to take action and actually get some small wins along the way.
Right.
They've spent enough time with me that they either really want to join, or it's not for or they know it's not for them. But either way, they've spent enough time with me then that they know.
They know that she knows, and they know that she can help.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a trust there, and there's a reciprocity there. And that's what works really well now. But yes, we run ads to the workshop, and we, we've got email sequences and all of the bells and whistles. Right. But really it's just being live with people that builds that trust and establishes us as an authority in the space, and then presents the offer that for those people who are ready for that, something like that, then it's there.
A very valuable insight that you share with me. In fact, just yesterday, I was talking to my mentor, and he's the guy, whom I look up to for advice. And he was telling me that, okay, there are three things that drive a person. Is it fame, fortune, or fun? And then he was asking me to sort of put myself, what would I put the number one on, and number two on, and number three on? And I think he figured out that maybe mine was fame first. And the reason for that is that I put myself out there. I go out there, I put myself in videos, I'll do lives, and I do a lot of these stuff. So he understood it as a need for fame. But when I hear you talk, and when I sort of clarified it to him, that it's not really, I'm putting myself out there from a point of view of an ego, but it is from a point of view of letting the world know that I'm here and that I can add value, and this is what I've got to give you. It's more from that perspective, that, and when people see you, they talk to you, it builds a different level of trust than, if you put some incognito kind of a thing where, they're just looking at a brand logo. So the trust, especially in the scenario when you're building your business and getting this funnel set up, I think it really helps. That's very insightful, that what you're telling me. And I think it definitely helps when you put yourself out there and they see you, they connect with you in real.
Yeah, and things happen, like kids come in and I've got a 2-year-old on my lap, or the tripod falls over, or the dogs bark, and it's real. Like, I spill water all over myself, and it's not scripted. It's they and the great thing is that it's alive, so the questions come up and you can see them, and so you can respond. Yes. And you can change the track of what you're talking about to be what your people want to be talking about, because they're asking you questions. And for me, it's definitely not a fame thing. Oh my goodness, I cringe every time I see my website, because it's got me everywhere.
Yeah.
But I, you're going to be working with me, so you need to know who I am. But it's not. I don't love being in front of the camera. I don't like. It's definitely been a skill that I've had to hone, and I've had to get past myself and go, actually, what drives me is I really want more women to go after their dreams and live the lives that they want to live. And I know that they can do that if they create their own business, but they need the confidence and they need the skills to be able to do it. And I can help them because I've done it for myself. Yeah. And it's not about the fame. So, like, if I could do it with a paper bag over my head, I probably would. Because I don't want the attention on me, but I've had to get over myself and go, no, I can help these people. Right. If all they do is come to my workshop and they never ever work with me, perfect. The workshop is as much for those, 97 people out of the 100 that don't join as for the 3 people who do join. And that's part of I believe that's part of why I'm here. Like, part of my purpose for being on the planet is to be able to give this time and flexibility and confidence and profit to to empower more women, basically. And in whatever way I can. I think that's why I'm here. Like, I think that, and so I'm going to continue to walk in that.
Wonderful. In fact, it reminds me of a story. One of my clients, when she converted and how she converted. So I was doing this Instagram live, and where, I have a vision problem, right? I don't see very well because of my albinism. And I was trying to figure out how to, leave the conversation. It was clearly not the most slick IG live that you would do, right? And she actually told me that, when I was watching it, I could relate to it, that here is a person who is not perfect, and that's what built that trust in her. And she converted because I asked her that, what made you take that decision? She said, you felt like somebody I could relate to, that you're not this infallible, perfect, glossy, Instagram perfect kind of a person. You are real. You showed your vulnerability, and that's what made me sort of build that connect with you.
Yeah. So true.
So raw and real any day, any day.
Yeah. And that doesn't mean you have to tell them, what you had for breakfast and, your dirty washing pile. Like it doesn't, we can be real and authentic and ourselves without having to think that you need to share every element of yourself. But it is about just people thinking like, oh, I like this person and I could be around, like I could be friends with this person, or, and I want to be around this person more and I can learn from them, or no, this, I'm totally put off. And I think that is more and more what we need to be ourselves, because the barrier to entry with business is so low now. There is 1,000,001 people that you could go and learn marketing from. But the people that are going to connect with me are the people that like my personality and my values and what I stand for and what I talk about and the way that I do that. And they're not going to know that if I don't put myself out there. And it's the same with everyone. People are going to know that I'm not for them because I speak really fast, or because I'm a mom and they don't relate to that, or whatever it happens to be. And that's perfectly fine. You don't want to be, we can't serve everybody anyway.
Yeah, and the fact that we are connecting like this, I was reading somewhere that 90% of the decision making happens at an emotional level, at a subconscious brain, right? And then we tend to justify it with a rational, we rationalize our decisions by logic.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
And the emotional connect, the fact that whether I like you or I don't like you happens in the first few seconds. And the way we are connecting now, like I already feel that I like you. Right. And if at all we have to do business together, I will have no hesitation at all. Right. Because I can feel that vibe. And that happens when you put yourself out there, when when you're not hiding behind a logo, so to speak.
Yeah. Or a script, and you're not just reading a script and looking pretty, because there's nothing, we're humans. I mean, at the basis of everything, we're humans, and it's people connect with people.
That's
and
true.
If you're not showing that of yourself, and I know it can be nerve-wracking, but again, you have to just get past yourself and know that you have something of value to offer and have that as your focus. Because if you're focusing on you and what people might think of you, and oh my gosh, my hair's not perfect, and whatever, then you're being selfish, because you're looking at inside and you're not looking out, and you're not focusing on your client and what you can actually help them achieve.
Yes, absolutely. So that brings me, to the next question that is coming in my mind is, how did you start sort of pricing yourself right? Because as a business owner, when you start providing your services, there's always these questions that you deal with, that, oh, this is too expensive for me, or am I selling myself too cheap? How did you figure out what was the winning, the right formula when it came to pricing your products and services?
Yeah, I think it's funny that you say this, because it was a bit of a journey with the agency, because my husband's a carpenter. And so we started our business 4 years ago. How old is he? He would have been about 32 approximately. So he had 15 years, say, of working on an hourly rate. As a carpenter, you get paid per hour. You know what it is. It's not a salary, it's a wage. If you work 9 hours that day, you get paid 9 hours. And that's what it is. And he really struggled to move from that model to when we were building a website and we were giving a quote, or we were doing Google ads, and he was like, yeah, but I'm only spending an hour a day, or, it only took me 10 hours. Or I'm like, you need to totally move your mindset away from that, because it's about the value that you're providing to them. So say that you spent 100 hours building someone's website and you were going to charge them $3,000. Then that's fine, but that website is now going to give them access to a whole lot more markets. It is going to then make them look more professional. It is mean that their conversion rate goes up. It's going to mean that more people find them. So it's worth to them more than $3,000, or, and so for him, that it took a while to get over that. For me, I actually reverse engineer it. That's how I have always worked with my clients because I wanted to run a business around my family. So I knew that I only had a set amount of hours per week that I wanted to work.
Right.
And I knew that I wanted to be able to earn a certain amount of money. And so I knew that if I was going to work this amount of hours, then client facing was probably, less than half of that, a quarter to half of that time, which means that I had, say, 10 hours a week that I could do client facing work. And that meant I need to get paid X amount of money. So then how could I create a package that was worth X amount of money?
Right.
And that's how we reverse engineered.
Wow.
A lot of that was, what do I actually want for my family? How can I help people? And of course you need to look at what's, kind of the industry averages are and what people are willing to pay, because, if I'm running Facebook ads for someone, they're not going to pay me $10,000 a month if they're spending $1,000 a month on ads. So it's like, there's going to be a cap, but if you can communicate the value and if you can provide a solution, if you can provide the ultimate solution to somebody's problem, then all of a sudden the price doesn't really matter. If they've had this problem that's weighing on them, whether it's, health related, money related, family related, relationships, what doesn't matter what industry, but if they have a significant problem that they're dealing with and you can provide the ultimate solution, like for example, I have worked as a personal trainer running fitness classes for about the last decade for fun as a hobby. I love it. I haven't done it for about a year, but normally I do. And when I first started, I would give people personal training sessions one-on-one. So I would go and I would get paid $50 per session. And if I would go to the gym and I'd have 5 sessions booked that night and maybe 1 or 2 would show up. And all of a sudden I'd have $100 in my pocket instead of $250. And my client wasn't getting results, so they would drop off. And I realized it wasn't good for either of us. But when I flipped it and I thought, no, this client, he wants to get fit for his daughter's wedding. He wants to lose 20 kilograms. What's the ultimate solution for him? The ultimate solution is that we work together 3 times a week, that we do nutrition planning, that I call him every day and make sure that he's not, binging on chocolate at nighttime, like whatever that package is. And all of a sudden I'm selling him something that's worth $2,000, not $50. I'm happier because I know whether he shows up or not, it doesn't matter. I'm still getting paid as I should. He's happier because he's actually showing up because he knows that he's going to get the results and he's getting the actual answer to the problem that he needed, which wasn't just a haphazard, I can show up or not training session.
Right.
So whatever equivalent that is for you, the ultimate solution, come up with that for your client. And then you can charge accordingly because you're not just charging $50 here and there or a low value offer. You're offering, you've got a high value offer that gets you paid what you want to be paid, gets your clients the results they want, gets you the testimonials you need to keep selling, to get more clients, and it's better for everybody.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I was creating my course, Instagram influence online course. I was building an online course, and I started off with a few beta testers, so to speak. I just invited a few company owners and I said, just join me. Every week I'll provide this course. And along the way, I built it like through them, with them. And one of the key things that I figured, the key learning that I had during the process of building this entire course was that even if you're taking the best course in the world from the best of the best in the world, it is not going to give you results unless and until you actually start applying the stuff that you're learning to your business and your situation, right? And so even though I was giving them this massive content, I was sharing with them and they were like, yeah, this is awesome. This is really good stuff. And unless and until they got down to actually doing the work that is required to be done to see the results, I was not able to show them the results. And if I can't show them the results, then I can't get the testimonials. And if I can't get the testimonials, how will I sell my course to others, right? So I figured that, okay, just giving the content is not going to work. I will need to make them accountable. I will need to coach them, nudge them to take the action and really start building into my training some sort of personalized coaching sessions as well. So that was a super interesting learning for me. And like you said, that when you create the whole package, uh, what is the total solution that they need. I think that's when you will start seeing the success. So that's what I'm now thinking in terms of how can I add in, instead of, okay, one value is that you give a self-paced online course, which a person can take from anytime, anywhere at their own convenience. And that's a huge plus. But at the same time, how can I make sure that they do take those steps? So for that, now I'm sort of thinking, and talking to you is giving me some ideas right here, right now. That
Perfect.
that if I could bundle it with some kind of activity nudge.
Accountability.
Yes.
And
Yes.
yeah.
Like the personal trainer example that you shared. I think
Accountability is a big part of why I think people do
yes.
anything, or it's a big part of what we need as humans. We need that accountability, because it's not that we can't find the information. All of the information's for free online, available for anybody, but it's the relationship and it's that accountability. It's the step-by-step guide. It's the, the formula together, putting all the pieces together is what people pay for, to actually be that bridge between where they are and where they want to be.
Yeah. And the perfect example is weight loss. Like everybody knows how to lose weight, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
But very, very few are able to actually do it. And when you pay to that person to train you and get you to your target, when it pinches you, right? That's when you take action. Like
exactly.
Till the time I hired a coach whom I was paying $180 an hour to train me. And I was like, I'm paying you to make me work. But that's when it pinched. That's when I saw the results happening, because I was like, oh my God, I'm putting so much money out there. I better get the results out of this.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So when both parties have the stake in the game, I think that's when magic happens. So the other thing that I always want to capture when I do these kind of, inspirational content is that I always ask the people who are their mentors that they have looked up to, whom they have learned from. So if I could ask you, who are the top 3 people that come to your mind who sort of inspired you in some way, whom you learned from, and what are the top lessons that you learned from them?
Goodness, I struggle with this role model question. I mean, I definitely have to come back to Kelly Roach in terms of the structure.
Can I get her name? Like, I want to search for her.
Yeah, so it's Kelly, Kelly Roach, ROACH, and she's American.
Okay.
And she runs the Unstoppable Entrepreneur Program, which is a 12-month business incubator program.
Okay.
She is an ex-corporate, Fortune 500, ex-NFL cheerleader, and just has helped me a lot with coming back to thinking about strategy and coming back to consistency. And one of the things that she talks about is training like for your business, like an athlete trains for their sport. And it's so true, because too many people get started, they try one thing for 2 weeks, it doesn't work, and they leave it. But it's just, it's like anything, we need to build the skill, we need to build and build and build, and we need the consistency behind us. And so she has really helped me in terms of thinking about business in that way and having bigger goals and thinking outside myself in certain terms of legacy and all of that. So I definitely recommend that you check out. She's got a podcast as well. I think it's the Unstoppable Entrepreneur Show, which is fantastic. She's one of the very few that give practical marketing advice, not just the what, but also the how, like actual real things that you can go, I can get off this. When I finish this, I can go and do that.
Right.
And yeah, so that's really helpful. Another person who gives really practical marketing advice is Suze Chadwick. Actually, she's an Aussie. She's very much into personal about branding bold, being confident, owning what it is that you're doing. Who else? The other one I would say that has probably been great for mindset wise for me is Tim Ferriss, because because he I think reading that one of his books a long time ago was the kind of the start of the thing for me that was like, oh, you really can design your own life.
Yeah.
Like I was talking about, figure out how much it is that you want to earn and when you want to work, and reverse engineer your business to work that. Because
Right.
I didn't come from an entrepreneurial family. I didn't come from wealth. I didn't have those personal influences.
Right.
And from a young age, it was only in my probably mid-20s where I was like, oh my goodness, I was like, this exists, and I don't have to have a 9-to-5 job, and I don't have to just, wait until I'm 65 to spend going to retirement. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, we can do what we want to do now. And that was so powerful for me. How I think it was the book, The 4-Hour Workweek, maybe.
Yeah.
And he talked about having like mini retirements.
Yes.
And just reframed my thought about possibility. And his podcast too is obviously, one of the most popular in the world, and for good reason, because I always come away thinking about things through a little bit of a different lens, or
awesome,
through a little bit of a different way. So they're probably the 3 that I would talk about.
Wonderful. And talking of podcasts, what set you off on this journey of podcasting?
Oh, I just love talking with people. And I wanted to, I really wanted to inspire more. When I started my podcast, I wanted to inspire women with more stories of mums who were doing it. Right. Because a lot of mums think it's too hard. I couldn't possibly have what I actually want, but you can, and here's proof. And these people aren't special. I'm not special.
Right.
It's just we decided, and we fell on our face 500 times and got back up, yeah. And it's possible. Awesome. And that's what I wanted to share was it's possible, and to be inspiring by sharing stories of inspirational women, and to give actual practical tips on strategies of ways to build your business without it taking over your life.
Yeah, in fact, that's the thing that got me started on this podcasting thing, is that there is extraordinary hiding in the ordinary, right? So find the role models and all of that, the dazzling people out there are great. And they are a source of inspiration, all right. But I have always somehow believed that there's a lot of wealth of wisdom and a lot of insight, that every human being's life and story is extraordinary. And
true.
So I believe that there is an extraordinary hiding in the ordinary. And so when I'm creating these episodes, to be honest, I'm not just going after the biggest celebrity or whoever. Whoever inspires me, whoever I feel, there's some alignment, and, this would make a great story. This would make a interesting inspiration piece. That's what I'm going after. Right. And
you're so right. I really agree. And I think it's the people that are in our lives that we might not ask questions of, like, the uncle that we never asked him about his career, or the niece, or the friend, like the school mom who you would normally only talk about the kids. Like, it's always, everyone has a story. You're spot on.
Yeah. So as a parting note, I think I would like to sort of ask or leave your thoughts on what would you tell the person who is sort of thinking in their head that I want to start something, but I don't know, I'm not sure, that kind of a stage that they are at. What advice would you give them?
I would say, if you have a dream, go for it, because life is too short to keep the job that you don't like, around people that you don't like. And yes, there's times for doing things that you don't love, but you don't have to quit what you were doing to jump into something new. So start and make sure that you love it, because entrepreneurship, business ownership, it's hard. It's rewarding, and it's fun, and it's so much more if you loving it, but it's not the easy way. It's definitely not the easy way. So you need to love it. Don't just start a business because it sounds good, because everyone else is doing it, and go and think, oh, I think I can make money making soy candles, so I'm going to go and do that. It needs to be something that you can put your blood and sweat and tears into, and be in for the long game. And if you think that you have something like that you want to go for, then you totally can, and start now, and start small, and just put one foot in front of the other, and make it happen and commit to it for that long term, and put the blinkers on. Don't look at what other people are doing, and just keep going and connect with people. Start talking with people and sharing your thoughts, sharing your ideas, and getting things out there. And the puzzle pieces will come together. The dots will join, but it needs to be something that you love, and you need to be committed to the long term. And I wouldn't just go and quit your job and dive in, because it's going to put a lot of stress on you to then make this thing work. And you want to be able to test it. You want to be able to play with it. And like my marketing mentor program, it started off as something very different to what it looks like now. So you want to be able to have that flexibility to test and explore and see what it is that you actually want to do. But go for it. But start would be my recommendation.
Right. Thank you, Annalise. That was so wonderful connecting with you, and really had a good time. And I hope this conversation will leave something of value for the listeners. So thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been really lovely connecting. Thank you for having me.
So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode and found it useful. Your support and feedback is invaluable. So please don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe for more such business growth hacks. You can find us on Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. See you soon.